Hello, friend. Today we're just going to take a look at the inner authority of the solar plexus. Again, in human design, the whole foundational teaching is for us to remove the authority of making decisions from our minds and placing that authority within the consciousness field of the body. The mind gets way too chaotic, exhausted, and it can't actually make decisions all day long. It becomes so tired and mentally fatigued. And we see this right now in our world. Mental wellness is a very, very hot topic. And the unfortunate piece is, it's the human beings that are, going through and witnessing this in themselves. And what I love about design, and I know that mental wellness is way deeper than just decision making. So, I'm not diagnosing anything. But when we have this simplistic tool of design that can bring our awareness back into the consciousness field that we inhabit, it relieves some of that pressure in the mind. And once some of that pressure can be relieved, what's really interesting is then the actual cellular structure can begin to heal itself. And doctors are seeing this, all in other parts of the world, where the actual chemistry of the brain and the actual brain can regenerate, as long as we are using this temple to the best of its ability. So, the solar plex, inner authority. I'm going to just go down through the hierarchical understandings of each one of these. So, there'll be a series of videos to talk about this. And what I love the most is it's really the simplistic tools of design are not difficult to grasp. What happens is the not self mind convinces you otherwise. And I know it from my own experiment. I know it from just living in this physical body. And what I love is that I can teach this simplistic information, and those that can hear me are going to hear me. All right, so inner authority. Inner authority is a way for you to listen to your own consciousness field. We are completely connected to the consciousness field. We're all connected. There's no new thought under the sun. There is no separation between my energy field and your energy field. However, we came here to have individuated human experiences so that we can expand that consciousness field through our individuated awareness. So, just imagine if you had a pea and there was nothing else around, nothing. It was just a pea. And everything around it was a pea, okay? Everything was a pea. Well, there's no expansion happening there because there's no individuated process. So what took place was the one said, okay, in order for us to expand, and I say a P because scientists have, come to the theory or conclusion, I'm not sure, I think it's still the theory, that prior to the Big Bang, everything that was in the universe was in the size of a pea. The energy, the mass was the size of a pea. And something took place that energy said, well, the only way that we can expand and become more is to have a duality, a dualistic this and that experience through many. So yes, we're connected to the consciousness field, but what design does is brings you back into your own consciousness field. That, of course, is then connected to the whole. So inner authority brings the power of your decisions back into your own consciousness field. Instead of making decisions from a place of conformity or homogenization or conditioning, just take 1 minute and, look at the influencers per se, like let's just say in the beauty sector, like cosmetics or whatever. And I'm not dishing them, but there's so much conformity there. All the influencers want to look the same, talk the same, act the same, and you see that, right? That's conformity. When 10,000 beauty influencers are all wearing the same shirt, the same pair of shorts, the same flip-flops, carrying the same handbag, that's conformity. So what design is saying is be individualized. Don't buy into the conformity, because the conformity is a killer. So it brings the inner authority brings your decision making back into your body, into your own consciousness field. And what it does is it empowers you to live that individualized life. Instead of trying to make decisions out of here, you make it based off of the consciousness field of the body. And inner authority elevates your self-actualization to a place of pure awareness. Then you get to actually become aware, because the mind isn't jammed up and filled with a bunch of junk that you're trying to make decisions and sort through. No, the decisions are made here. Then the mind can start to sort and sift what it needs to and place what it needs to, where it needs to, and it'll be available to you when the time is needed. So inner authority assesses what is correct for you. So it will give you the indication of a yes or a no. Yes, I'm going to do this, or no, I'm not going to do it. Inner authority sets up the movie so you can watch it. So I don't know how much information or how much studying of design or any of that you've done, but basically, our minds are here to be the passenger and watch this vehicle, this meat suit, navigate on this plane. And it's just here to watch it, right? Like your soul is seriously just here to experience. That's it. So the mind is here to, and am I saying the mind is the soul? I don't know. We're just here to witness our movie. We're not here to interfere with it. So the inner authority is the composer of the instrument you came here to play. So all your definition, that's your instrument. That's your particular instrument to play in the frequency field, in the vibration, in the energy, whatever you want to call it. It's that's how you're to, that's your instrument. That's how you get to play in this field. So the inner authority clears up the airwaves and tunes in your outer authority. Now, what is outer authority? Outer authority is the wisdom that you're gaining in this lifetime. And the wisdom comes from your instrument experiencing through the openness. So all of the white that's in your chart and all that wisdom that's flowing through the neutrino ocean, through your cellular structure, that's all wisdom. And what inner authority does is it brings back your power to operate from that instrument and then be fully tuned into what you need to put out as a vibration into the frequency. Now, if we're trying to use the not self, the openness, as our instrument, and we're trying to make decisions through that openness, what happens is it becomes a very distorted field. And, just a simple example of that is, tuning in your radio. If you're off by just one point, all of a sudden the radio goes like that. But as soon as you get tuned into that radio station, it's clear and it's crisp. And that is the same thing that inner authority does for you. It tunes you in to your radio station. So the emotional intelligence of the solar plexus. So if this function or center is defined in your body graph, that's your inner authority. So that center actually is currently a motor. The solar plexus is currently a motor, and it's moving into an awareness, okay? And we're moving closer and closer to that as we close in on the year 2027. And this particular center right now operates in a wave pattern. So something's presented to you and all of a sudden there's excitement, or something's presented to you and all of a sudden, there's despair about it. And this wave goes up and down into excitement and despair, hope and pain, and it moves in this fashion. So if this is your inner authority, the cellular structure of your body actually needs to have time to integrate all of the emotional intelligence about what is being presented. So if you're a manifester, there is time that's required for you to, really get a good grasp on who you're going to impact when you either move forward with a decision or you choose not to move forward with a decision, whether you take action or not. And that time period is for you to really integrate who you're going to impact with that movement. If you are a projector, again, it's all about integrating, that recognition field. So am I being recognized, and integrating that information into the body, and then either accepting the invitation or declining the invitation based off of, your emotional intelligence about recognition, being noticed, and being able to guide people. And for our generators, manifesting generators, our builders, this is all about, coming to a place of clarity, through, responding over time, coming to clarity as to, okay, when am I going to, use my available energy or not? When's the correct timing for me to move into the decision or move away from the decision? And it's all about, you feeling the up and down and just integrating the emotional intelligence of it. So the wave pattern is so you feel the ups and downs of the decision, but you are not the wave. You are the surfer and riding the wave. So I see this often. Emotional people get all excited and they want to jump in because they're at the top of their wave and they're being the wave. And it's about just sitting back and going, okay, here's my emotional intelligence about this in this moment, right now. And it's moving through the ups and downs of it. So when a surfer's on a surfboard, they have to be so in tune with their body on the surfboard, because if they move abruptly, or if they're not fully conscious of their body, they can flip themselves off that surfboard in a heartbeat, and then they are the wave. And the wave spits you out of the ocean, and the wave can drown you in the ocean. And the key piece of this is to be the surfer and just be fully aware of where you are on that wave. So it's not a time for you to weigh pros and cons, because the emotional intelligence needs time. I'm not going to tell you the time period. It could be, whatever. It could be 24, 46, 72, 1 week, month, years, whatever it is, because it's your experience. It's not my experience. And you get to experiment with, the severity of a decision based off of, and then go, okay, well, what's my time period here for the severity of this decision? Maybe going for lunch with a coworker is a little bit different time period than purchasing a house, or, selling your house and, moving into a new country, whatever that is, right? And it all depends on you experimenting with your timeline. I'm not going to tell you, oh yeah, it's 24 hours. No, because it's all about how well you can integrate your emotional intelligence and really stay out of your head while you're doing it. So again, this is a time for your emotional body to integrate the information, because it is just information. Everything's just information. That's all we are. We're energetic matter, and it's just information. That's just weird information. So the emotional intelligence, is the hierarchy. So if this center is colored in, if it is gold in your body graph, you are an emotional, a person that has emotional intelligence, has a solar plex, that has emotional authority. And it's about time. And it's about really integrating information into the cellular structure over a period of time. So here's just a quick synopsis of, the difference in the waves. And I'm not going to get into this because this is more of a personal understanding, because all of your instrument needs to be funneled into understanding this emotional wave. So this is just kind of a quick synopsis. And, without all the adjectives for your verbs, it's pretty difficult to gauge this. But it's just a quick synopsis, just seeing that there's ups and downs. There is going to be ups and downs. Like, we feel that in our life. If you want a really good example of this, go to the stock market. Check out the tickers. Mostly it's all, of course, not self, that is operating that emotional wave on the stock market, but it's still a graph to see, what are people feeling about a particular company or index or ETF, all those kind of things. And it's really quite interesting to watch the not self emotionality run our economy. It's kind of crazy, but that's what we do. And what I also love about design is that there's a whole business side to this, and that's really where I'm going to really dig in my fingers, because I see how I see how the stock market and how the economy is fully ran off the not self. A lot of it is ran off of fake news, which, you know, that could be a controversy between you and I as well, but that's my look on it. People start running with stuff that may or may not be healthy. But anyways, so, you know, this is just a quick synopsis of really what's happening in your body. So don't let the not self fake news mind, not self mind, try to force you to look at this in a different way. This is a snapshot so that you can feel this in your body and become emotionally intelligent and use that emotional intelligence as your authority to move forward into making decisions. So this is kind of a visualization of a wave. So the wave is always in movement, always. The ocean cannot be alive if there's no waves. Okay, that ebb and flow is created from the moon, and the moon again pulls us up into our experience, right, into our experiment. And there's a video about that already on my YouTube channel if you want to check that out. But the moon pulls us into our experience. So the moon is doing the exact same thing to the ocean. You know, it's moving it. It's creating these waves. And the waves create the life. So the wave brings like kind of like food for your life. Okay. And I'm not going to, that's why I put food in quotations. So it washes, you know, it washes the newness in, takes the oldness out. And there's always that ebb and flow. So it's not about being the wave. It's about witnessing the wave. So clarity is not a destination, because clarity is always in movement. And this, you know, might be one of the reasons why people with emotional authority, how do I say this? They don't always love it. And a lot of them want to erase that out of their charts. And I don't have it. So it's not my inner authority. So I can only just witness what other people are going through. But that clarity is not a destination. It's actually a movement towards the self-actualization process, and a movement through those ups and downs. So clarity comes over time. There is no destination. There's not going to be a clear spot and done. Clarity just feels like, you know, there's no more nervousness about the decision. And there kind of feels like this contentment. And then you can move forward or not, enter in or not. It's all this emotional intelligence that you've gained. And it has absolutely nothing to do with the not self mind. It has nothing to do with any kind of stuff that the mind wants to put in or take out. Okay. All right. So if any of this intrigues you and you want to move forward and understand your human design, you want to understand you on a personal level, you want to understand you on a business level, a career level, whatever it is, I have nothing but passion for this system. And the more I delve into it, and the more I study the scientific thought leaders of our time and the scientific thought leaders of the past, design is in all of it. So definitely get a hold of me. I would love to co-create a beautiful experience, because every time I work with clients, I also learn, and I love that. That as a 1-3, love it. All right. So thank you for your time, and enjoy your wave.